The investment pitch room at Harrington Capital had been designed to make founders feel slightly smaller than the money they were asking for. The walls were glass, the table was white stone, the chairs were low and expensive, and the skyline behind the partners looked arranged to remind visitors that this firm had already bought pieces of the future before anyone else knew where to look. On one wall, a large screen waited for the founders deck. On the other, framed magazine covers showed companies Harrington had backed early enough to make everyone in the building believe they could recognize genius by posture alone. Maya Ellis stood at the front of the room with a laptop, a clicker, and 9 minutes left before the meeting ended. She was 32, black, and the founder of ChiroCart, a logistics software company built for small neighborhood retailers that were losing customers, not because they lacked demand, but because they lacked the fulfillment infrastructure big platforms took for granted. Her product connected local shops, independent grocers, pharmacies, and specialty stores to pool delivery routes, live inventory, and same-day pickup windows. It did not look glamorous in a venture deck. It looked like invoices, routes, packing slips, backroom shelves, and shop owners who knew every customer by name. But the numbers were beautiful, not the inflated kind founders invented before revenue, real numbers, live merchants, repeat orders, paid pilots, delivery density improving each week, customer retention higher than the industry benchmark, unit economics that worked in neighborhoods where investors usually saw only fragmented markets. Across from her sat Blake Whitcomb, a white general partner at Harrington Capital, 48, polished, impatient, and famous for interrupting founders while calling it pattern recognition. He had backed two delivery companies, one marketplace startup, and a failed grocery platform he still described as ahead of its time because admitting it had burned money without solving a real problem would have required humility. Maya had known Blake might be difficult. She had not expected him to cut her off before slide 5. "So, this is another local commerce enablement layer," Blake said, leaning back with a pen balanced between his fingers. Maya paused. "No, it is a fulfillment coordination platform for retailers who already have demand but cannot meet delivery expectations profitably." Blake gave a small smile. "That sounds like enablement with more syllables." A few associates at the table chuckled softly. Maya did not. She clicked to the next slide. "The difference is that we do not generate demand through discounts. We aggregate existing order volume and optimize delivery by neighborhood clusters. Our average merchant sees—" Blake lifted a hand. "Before metrics, I want to understand the market. Small retailers are notoriously hard to scale. Low software adoption, messy inventory, high churn, limited willingness to pay." Maya nodded once. "That is true for generic SaaS. It is not true when the software directly converts abandoned demand into fulfilled orders. You're assuming the demand exists. We measured it. You measured it in pilots. Paid pilots. Still pilots." Maya looked at him. "Paid behavior is the start of a market." Blake smiled again, but this time there was less amusement and more warning. "Maya, I appreciate the conviction, but we see a lot of founders fall in love with the pain point before proving the growth engine." There it was. Conviction, fall in love, pain point. Words used to make evidence sound like emotion. Maya clicked to the customer slide anyway. "We began in 3 neighborhoods with independent grocers and pharmacies. The average store was already receiving phone, text, and walk-in delivery requests they could not handle. We converted those requests into structured orders, pooled routes, and pickup windows. In 12 weeks, participating merchants saw a 28% increase in fulfilled remote orders without adding staff." Blake glanced at the screen for less than 2 seconds. "How many merchants?" 42 active, 26 paying monthly, 16 in expansion trials." He laughed softly. "So very early." "Yes," Maya said. "That is why I am raising seed capital, not preparing an IPO." One of the junior partners looked down quickly. Blake's eyes sharpened. The managing partner, Elaine Carter, who had been quiet until now, leaned forward slightly. She was white, in her early 50s, and known for letting founders survive uncomfortable silence, before deciding whether they had substance. She had not smiled once, but she had been listening. Continue, Elaine said. Maya nodded. Our route pooling has improved delivery density from 1.8 orders per mile to 3.9 orders per mile in the highest performing zone. Merchant churn is currently 0 among paying accounts, though the sample is still small. Customer repeat rate is 64% within 30 days. We are raising $4 million to expand into 5 additional urban clusters and integrate directly with merchant POS systems. Blake cut in again. 0 churn on 26 merchants does not mean anything. Maya turned to him. It means something. It does not mean everything. He blinked. She continued. That is why the next milestone is cohort retention across 150 paying merchants. Blake tapped his pen. The model still feels services heavy. It is software-coordinated logistics, which means operational complexity. Yes. Venture capital does not love operational complexity. Customers do not love products that avoid their real problems. The room quieted. Blake leaned forward now. Maya, I'm trying to help you. Investors need to believe this can scale beyond hand-holding corner stores. Maya felt the phrase land exactly where he meant it to. Corner stores, not local retailers, not independent commerce, not neighborhood infrastructure, corner stores. She looked at him. Our merchants include pharmacies, specialty grocers, pet supply stores, hardware retailers, and 2 regional mini-chains. The perception will still be small business fragmentation. The opportunity is small business aggregation. He shook his head. That's a nice line. It is the business. Blake's patience thinned. Let me be direct. I do not see enough proof that merchants will adopt fast enough or that order volume will compound. This deck reads like a thoughtful community project with some software attached. The room went still. Maya heard the sentence echo beneath the polite office lighting. Community project. There were venture phrases that sounded neutral until one noticed who received them. White founders building tools for restaurants were vertical SaaS. White founders building delivery infrastructure were logistics platforms. A black woman building profitable local commerce software was suddenly running a community project. She placed the clicker on the table. Blake, which metric makes it a community project? He looked slightly annoyed. I am talking about scale. Which metric? Market structure. Which part? He sighed. You're being defensive. No, Maya said. I am asking you to turn a vague dismissal into an investment objection. Elaine's eyes moved to Blake. The associate stopped typing. Blake's jaw tightened. Fine, your order growth is not convincing. Maya picked up the clicker again. Then let's look at live orders. Blake gave a short laugh. Live dashboards and pitches are usually theater. Only when the numbers are fake. His face hardened. Maya connected her operating dashboard to the screen. A login page appeared, then a live map of active merchant zones. Colored dots represented stores. Thin lines represented delivery routes. A panel on the right displayed order activity, merchant acceptance rate, route utilization, repeat customers, and revenue for the day. No vanity animation, no polished investor graphic. Just the system, running. The room leaned in to spite itself. Maya said, This is our live production dashboard. It updates every 10 seconds. Today is a normal weekday. No promotion, no discount campaign. No push notification beyond standard merchant alerts. Blake looked unimpressed. A live dashboard can still be anecdotal. Then watch the pattern. At first, the screen showed modest activity. 9 open orders, 4 active routes, 7 merchants online. Then an order arrived from a neighborhood pharmacy, then 2 from a grocery cluster. Then a hardware store accepted a same-day pickup request. A delivery route automatically adjusted. The density calculation changed. Elaine leaned forward. Maya said, This is the South Ashland cluster. 3 months ago, these merchants were handling delivery requests manually. Average fulfillment time was 3 hours, often same day only by luck. Now orders are batched within 40-minute windows. Blake pointed at the screen. What is the average order value? $38 for groceries, $22 for pharmacy, $46 for specialty retail. Low. High frequency. Margin? Merchant pays us a platform fee plus delivery coordination fee. Contribution margin is positive in 2 clusters, near break-even in the third. He looked at the numbers again. The dashboard refreshed. More orders appeared, then more. Maya frowned slightly. This was higher than usual. Her phone buzzed on the table. A message from her operations lead flashed across the screen preview. East Market merchants just turned on the new campaign. Orders jumping. Maya ignored the phone for the moment. Blake noticed the dashboard movement. Are these test orders? No. Are you running a promo? No company-funded promo. The dashboard refreshed again. The order count climbed from 16 to 28, then 35. A route turned orange, then recalculated. One of the associates whispered, "That's real volume." Blake shot him a look. Maya opened the merchant activity panel. East Market cluster just activated. They were scheduled to go live this afternoon after final onboarding. Looks like several merchants announced same-day local delivery to their customer lists. Elaine said, "Can we see revenue?" Maya clicked. Live gross merchandise volume climbed. Platform fees updated. Route density rose. Customer repeat tags appeared beside several orders in the original cluster. The dashboard filled with motion. Orders were not trickling now. They were stacking. A bakery, a pharmacy, a grocer, a neighborhood bookstore, a pet supply shop, a small electronics repair store offering parts delivery. Merchant acceptance times dropped as staff confirmed orders. The system combined pickups. Routes tightened. The map went from proof of concept to something more dangerous to Blake's dismissal. It looked like demand, not imagined demand, not founder conviction. Live orders. Elaine asked, "How many of these customers are new?" Maya opened the cohort panel. In the East Market cluster, most are first-time platform customers because the merchants just activated. In South Ashland, 64% repeat within 30 days. The system tags repeat by phone number and merchant account. Blake leaned forward despite himself. What is your failure mode when orders spike? Merchant prep capacity first, route saturation second. We throttle windows automatically once capacity limits hit. As if summoned by the question, the dashboard showed a delivery window closing after capacity was reached. Maya pointed. There. The pharmacy just hit its safe fulfillment limit for the next window. Customers are being offered the next available slot rather than creating late orders. Elaine looked at Blake. Blake was staring at the screen now. His earlier smile was gone. The live order count hit 52, then 61. The room had changed. Nothing about Maya had changed. Nothing about the company had changed. The same product, the same merchants, the same model, the same founder who had been cut off as if she were pitching a charity project. But now the dashboard had become a witness Blake could not interrupt. Maya let the numbers update for another few seconds. Then she turned back to him. You said you did not see proof that order volume would compound. What specific evidence would change your view? Blake did not answer immediately. Elaine smiled faintly for the first time. Blake cleared his throat. This is stronger than the deck made it seem. Maya said, No, the deck said it. You interrupted before the numbers loaded. The room went silent. Blake's face flushed. One of the associates stared at the table. Elaine did not rescue him. Good. Maya continued, voice controlled. You called it a community project. You questioned whether merchants would adopt, whether customers would order, whether density would improve, whether the model had software leverage. The dashboard is showing all 4. Blake looked at her. I was testing assumptions. You were replacing metrics with pattern recognition that did not recognize the pattern. That landed hard. Elaine sat back, watching both of them. Blake's jaw tightened. For a moment, Maya expected defensiveness, a pivot, a joke, a comment about founder temperament. Instead, the dashboard refreshed again. 74 live orders. The numbers did not care about his pride. Elaine spoke. Maya, what does this spike do to today's operations? We will likely hit capacity in East Market earlier than planned. That is good and bad. It proves demand, but we need merchant-side prep tools and more delivery partner availability before scaling aggressively. Use of funds? Engineering, merchant onboarding, route operations, and POS integrations. I do not want to buy growth before operations can hold it. Blake looked up. That is more discipline than most marketplace founders. Maya turned to him. I know. He had the grace to look uncomfortable. For the next 20 minutes, the pitch became the meeting it should have been from the beginning. Elaine asked about cohort behavior. Another partner asked about CAC. Maya explained that customer acquisition came through merchant-owned channels first, reducing paid marketing dependence. An associate asked about defensibility. Maya described local delivery density, merchant workflow integration, and the data advantage from neighborhood-level fulfillment constraints. Blake asked fewer questions, and when he did, they were finally real. By the end, the dashboard had crossed 100 live orders. Maya's operations lead had sent 6 messages. She would need to leave soon. Elaine closed her notebook. We want to continue diligence. Maya nodded. I'm open to that. Blake said, This could be very interesting. Maya looked at him. It was interesting before the dashboard filled. The sentence could have ended the room. Instead, Elaine laughed once, not at Maya, at the truth. Blake looked down, then back up. Fair. Maya packed her laptop. As the meeting broke, Blake approached her near the glass wall. Maya, she turned. Blake. He looked less polished up close, or maybe simply less certain. I owe you an apology. Yes. He blinked at the directness, then nodded. Yes, I cut you off. Repeatedly. I did. And you framed the business as small, soft, and community-oriented before engaging the data. His mouth tightened. I did. She waited. He looked toward the conference room screen where the dashboard had just disconnected. I made assumptions based on the customer base and the kind of founder I expected to see building venture-scale commerce infrastructure. Maya held his gaze. Say the whole thing. His face flushed. He lowered his voice. I underestimated you because you are a black woman founder, building for merchants I did not already associate with venture scale. That was closer. Maya nodded once. Now do something useful with that. I'd like Harrington to lead the round. She almost laughed. That is useful for you. He absorbed that. What would be useful for you? Clean diligence. No asking me to prove the same thing twice because you missed it the first time. No discounting merchant-led acquisition because it does not look like your last marketplace deal. No calling operational discipline lack of ambition. And if you pass on the business, not on the story you invented before the pitch started. Blake nodded slowly. Understood. And Blake? Yes? Do not tell people you discovered Cairo Cart when the dashboard lit up. I was already here. He looked down. Understood. Harrington did not lead the round. That surprised some people, not Maya. After diligence, Elaine wanted in. Blake wanted in too, perhaps for better reasons than before, perhaps because he hated missing deals publicly. But their terms came with too much control, too much signaling, and too much subtle pressure to chase growth before operations could hold it. Maya took money from a smaller firm that had asked better questions from the first meeting. Harrington joined as a minor participant. Elaine sent a short note afterward. You made the right call. Blake sent none. Cairo Cart grew, not magically, not smoothly. Growth made every hidden weakness visible. Merchants forgot to update inventory. Delivery partners quit during rainstorms. Customers wanted impossible windows. POS integrations broke. One cluster failed entirely because the anchor merchants were not operationally ready. Maya learned to close weak launches fast, protect strong ones, and never let investors confuse momentum with readiness. But the model worked, neighborhood by neighborhood, cluster by cluster. Live orders became daily orders became retention, retention became revenue, revenue became bargaining power. 2 years later, CaroCart served 14 cities and over 2,000 merchants. It was not the biggest commerce platform. It did not need to be. It became infrastructure for businesses everyone had claimed were too fragmented to support technology at scale. At a founder conference, Maya was asked about the famous pitch where the live dashboard changed the room. She disliked the phrasing. Still, she answered, "The dashboard did not change the business," she said. "It changed who was forced to see it." The audience went quiet. She continued, "A lot of founders from underestimated markets are asked to prove demand after they have already shown demand, prove discipline after they have already practiced it, prove scale in language investors recognize before investors recognize the market itself. My advice is not to build for the room, build so the customer leaves evidence the room cannot ignore." After the talk, a young black founder approached her. "I'm pitching a tool for home care agencies," she said. "Investors keep calling it a services business." Maya smiled knowingly. "Do they say it before or after looking at the workflow data?" "Before." "Then make them name the metric." The founder wrote that down. Maya added, "And never let someone confuse an unfamiliar customer with a small market." Years later, Blake invited Maya to speak at Harrington Capital's annual Founder Summit. She accepted, mostly because Elaine asked personally and because Maya enjoyed entering rooms that had once underestimated her. Blake introduced her carefully. "3 years ago," he said, "Maya Ellis came into our conference room and showed us a company I was too slow to understand. The live dashboard made the mistake obvious, but the mistake began before that. It began when I cut off the founder instead of listening to the evidence." Maya, waiting off stage, raised an eyebrow. "Not bad." He continued, "She taught me something I should have already known. Markets do not become venture scale when investors recognize them. Investors recognize them late." That line was useful. When Maya took the stage, she did not thank him too warmly. She told the truth. CaroCart did not win because an investor finally saw the numbers. It won because merchants were already using it, customers were already ordering, and our team was already solving the hard parts beneath the dashboard. Then she clicked to the first slide. A live map appeared. Orders moved across neighborhoods in real time. The room leaned in. Maya smiled. This time, no one interrupted.